Hey all, my name is Paul Borowski and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I've done is I've taken a few minutes and I've gone ahead and compiled an example of what my deluxe business plan looks like, the various components, what to expect for the length, etc. Hopefully this information is going to help everyone reach a decision as to whether the deluxe plan is right for them or not. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. I'd like to try to keep this video under 5 minutes, but my other ones have been going between 7 to 9 minutes. So hopefully y'all can bear with me with this. Alright, so first part is going to be the cover page. I do put the name of your company up there and a logo or just a logo, completely up to you. Underneath that on the front page is going to be the author, which is myself. We can include that, we can take it off, not a problem. Like I said, completely up to you. It just adds credibility to the document. And second page is going to be the table of contents. This is my deluxe plan, so it's going to cover quite a bit of information. And I do advertise my deluxe plans between 35 to 45 pages, and this one exceeded 51. So this can be a significant document. Next page is going to be the confidentiality statement. Just tells the reader not to tell anybody your thoughts and ideas that they're going to find in the business plan. Next section after that, page 5, is going to be the owner statement. This is the only information that I do ask my clients to supply to me. And this all I ask y'all to do is to come up with some kind of a paragraph, a few sentences as to the motivations and the passions as to why you want to start your business, or as to why you started your business. That's something that I can't write myself. I'm an academic writer, and this is more of a personal statement. This is optional as well. If you don't feel like writing it, not a problem. We can throw it out. We can move on to the next section. And for this section right here, the executive summary. Love my executive summaries because first and foremost, this is the last page that's always written. And anytime you write an executive summary, it's absolutely critical that no new information is introduced in the executive summary that is not talked about in the business plan. A business plan should be two separate entities. The first one is going to be your executive summary, and the second one is going to be your business plan. If you read either one, you should have a broad overview of the company, and information provided in the executive summary should always be covered in detail into the business plan. So as a college professor, what I do is when I teach my students how to write a business plan, I tell them for the executive summary, go into your business plan, grab some different portions of the plan that are going to be important that need to go into the executive summary, copy it, paste it into your executive summary, and then reword it a little bit if needed, just to make sure it flows right. That way you're ensured no information is introduced in the executive summary that's not covered in your business plan. My clients and my students that executive summary shouldn't exceed a page. However, with a substantial document of 50 pages, you're going to have a couple page executive summary. You're not going to get around that. So my executive summaries are going to cover the problem statement. It's going to include the company and product, target market, competitive advantage, financial highlights, a nice little graph. I'm not a big graph person. I like my academic information. Don't like all the pretty pictures and stuff like that. This is not a sales or a promo pitch. This is hardcore what your business is about. And then the funding is, I always wind up my executive summary with the funding. This kind of justifies what the business is going to do, and it justifies why you need this money. Next section after that is going to be your company description. Dive into the problem statement. Anytime that a business has ever been formed, that'll ever be formed, it always starts with a customer having a problem. The business is then created to solve that problem. With my business plans for the Deluxe, I always start with identifying what the problem is that the customer is having, and then I describe how your company is going to solve that problem better than the competition. And so once you tell that story, then the readers are going to have a better understanding as to why your business is in business, and what problem are they solving and how you're solving it better than everybody else. So we start with the problem statement and the company description. Then we go into the company summary. What kind of company is it going to be? And so on and so forth. And then the next thing what we do here is we talk about the product description. What are some of the products or services that you're offering? From there, we go into the business model. What are your hours of operation? What's your customer experience going to be? We then lead to the competitive advantage. What are you doing different than your competitors? Your pricing strategy. Are you premium pricing, low cost pricing, best value pricing? I'll just do a brief discussion there. After that, we talk about the location. Where is it going to be? Why did you choose that location? What are some of the benefits of that location? Then we go into some of the company's goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. Then we go into some keys to success. What are some things that your company needs to do in order to be successful? From there, we go into the technology. Technological advances has impacted just about every company in our society right now. And it's going to continue to do so. So in my business plans for the Deluxe, I like to talk about how the owner is going to embrace technological advances to better serve the customer. And the premise behind this is that if a business owner is not embracing technology, their competitors are. There's a reason technological advances are coming about. It makes it easier to service customers better and such. Make sure to embrace it and make sure to discuss how you're going to embrace it. And I do include that in my business plan for the Deluxe. Next thing is going to be your business objectives and timeline. This kind of lays out for the reader. What do you plan on accomplishing in the first 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months? Then we go into future plans. What do you want to do in the future? In 2000, well, it's 2018 now, but I did write this plan, a while ago. So what do you want to do in 2019, 2021? Just some ideas, thoughts and ideas about what your future plans are going to be. Next part is going to be the mission statement, vision statement, value statements. And if y'all don't have that information, you haven't written a mission, vision, or value statement, not a problem. I'd be delighted to do it for you. It would be, something brief and succinct. Nothing too crazy. Next section is going to be your target market. For the target market, I'm going to identify who your main customers are going to be. It could be a narrow target market, a broad target market. Again, it really depends on your company and your strategies. Market analysis, I don't go too crazy with the market analysis. It's probably about 1 to 2 pages. And I don't go too crazy about it for the simple fact is that a business plan needs to be balanced. We're talking a little bit about your about what you're going to be offering. We're going to talk a little bit about the owner, a little bit about the financials, and a little bit about the market analysis, a little bit about competitors. So it's got to be a broad overview. So I don't go too deep into the market analysis. I do introduce the market, maybe talk about revenues. I'll talk about some trends, threats, and opportunities in the industry. And then I do also include a SWOT analysis. And then I do put some information in here such as a risk analysis, barriers to entry, and economic conditions. And these are relatively similar for most companies and for most industries. So I do use some templates here and I just adjust it, based on what's going on in the marketplace in your industry. So these are generalized right here. These are not like the initial company description where it's just flat out from scratch. These are modified a little bit. Next section is going to be your competition. I start up here with introducing the competition, then I put a summary of the competition, and then I do a little bit of a competitive analysis, and then I also do a summary of that analysis with some strengths and weaknesses just to highlight that information. I do choose 2 competitors for you. Demographics, I start with the city if possible, and I'll put the information into a graph as to the various components of the demographics. And then I'll also, again if possible, I'll go with the state level as well, and I'll put that information in here into into some kind of a chart. Next part is going to be the organization and management. I start with the management summary. I write this section only if I'm supplied with a resume, and it's just a brief section. Next part is going to be job responsibilities. What are the different positions and what are they going to do? And then if you do supply me with a resume, I will put it in the appendix. And the next section is going to be the organizational structure. Who is the leader? Who do they report to? And what are some of the positions? For some companies, it may not be all-inclusive if you have 20, 30 employees. But for the smaller companies, I do try to make it inclusive. Sales and marketing, this is the next step. Most companies, they're going to do 3 different categories for their sales and marketing. They're going to advertise from traditional methods, social media, and website. So I do have worked out a template that I've put in here, and I do modify it. So for each company, for each industry, I do modify it based on that information, but I do start with the foundation. Same thing with strategies. There's pretty much 3 strategies that people use. It's going to be networking, competitive strategies, and marketing strategies. And again, I start with a template and I modify the information based on the company and the industry. Then we've got the funding request. I start with $100,000 for this right here. My funding requests are just straight in your face. Here's the amount of money that I need, and here's where it's going to be spent. And everything previous to this is justifying why the money should be given to the company. And then here's the exit strategy. This is pretty much a brief statement showing that you've thought about how you're going to get out of the company. Every company that's ever started, the owner eventually is going to leave, whether it's through sale or from inheritance. But no person is always going to run the same business forever and ever. They're always going to leave. This shows a little bit of foresight as to how you're going to plan your exit. And next part right here, this is my bread and butter. This is my baby, my financial projections. This is what I'm very, very, very good at. I'm a good writer. Love my business plans, but I really, really love my financials. And when I'm doing my financials, I always start with the foundation, which are my assumptions. This just tells the reader that I'm just not making up numbers. For example, I show for the first 12 months that the sales are going to grow by approximately 3%. And so I just kind of lay the foundation for where my numbers are coming from. And I do ask, the foundation of all my financials is a conversation with the client. What do you project your sales to be on an average on a daily basis? What are your costs on a monthly basis? I take that information and then I put that into my template, and out comes my projections. All right, and so for my deluxe plan, what I show here is I kind of paint a picture of where these numbers are coming from. So right here is the daily sales. So the daily sales, here's the numbers right here, approximately 40 tutoring sessions a day, approximately 40 templates a day, and here are the prices for each. And so this gives me total revenues and total costs. So this kind of paints a picture, average sales, and from there, I'll figure out what are the labor. So it's going to be 9 tutors working 40 hours a week. And then the startup costs. What are my costs that are going to be in order to start the business? And then I go right into the monthly fixed costs, and I'll show the monthly fixed costs, or what are the costs going to be on a monthly basis. Once I paint the picture of the foundation of the financials, then we can get into the first year profit and loss broken up onto a monthly basis and also a quarterly basis as well. And then again, quarter 2, year 1, and then again I go right into the monthly basis. So I'm breaking this up on a 12-month profit and loss statement, but I'm breaking it up into quarters as well. And then the same thing for year 1, quarter 4. And then we've got the common size, and this just shows that as sales are increasing, that the salaries and stuff, what they're doing percentage-wise. And then we've got a profit and loss statement for year 2, and again I break that up into monthly and quarterly basis as well. And then we have the income statement, and the income statement, this shows your annual sales for the first 5 years. And then we've got the balance sheet, and I've got it broken down into cash, accounts receivable, inventories, accounts payable. And then from there, we go into some more financial analysis. I show projected cash flows, net present value, approximately what the value of the company is based on cash flows, what's the internal rate of return. I also conduct a break-even analysis. What is the break-even in dollars? That's going to be able to cover all your costs. Next section is going to be your payback period. How long is it going to take the company to make back the initial investment? And then I throw in some ratios as well, return on equity, return on assets, current ratio, profit margins. The final portion right here is going to be just a template that I provide to customers. I can put in your name here, or y'all can do that. It's completely up to you. But that's just a non-disclosure agreement that you can have whoever's going to read it sign before they take a look at it. And then the final section is going to be the resume, if it is provided. And just jumping back to these financials real quick. These financials are, like I said, it's based on information provided by the customer. However, we don't just willy-nilly put numbers everywhere. What I do use is a proprietary spreadsheet that I've developed. I do not give this to the clients. This is proprietary. This is for myself to use. But this kind of shows you how the financials are created. And so what I do, like I said, is we start with average daily sales. So how many tutoring sessions do you think we're going to have? Or how many templates are we going to sell? So we come up with an average revenues. And then we come up with some, how many people are going to be needed to work, how many hours are they going to need, and then the startup cost. Then we go into the monthly fixed costs. What are your monthly fixed costs going to be? And then we agree on some growth rates. Once this information is inputted, it all rolls into all of my other spreadsheets. Here's my 12-month income profit and loss statement. Here's my next year 2 profit and loss statement. And all that information rolls into the income statement right here, which rolls into the balance sheet. And so what happens is once we change this information here, all of your other financials are going to roll over and change as well. So that is how we can show that all of your financials are based on assumptions and based on daily sales and monthly cost. So they're all really justifiable. And financials, we're always guessing at what sales are going to be into a month. Who knows? But at least there's some rhyme and reason to our guessing. So hopefully this information helps y'all decide whether this deluxe business plan is going to be ideal for your business needs. And I look forward to working with y'all to write up a fantastic business plan. Please don't hesitate to give me a call at the number below or send me an email here. And I look forward to working with y'all. All right, take care.